Over the last 12 months, I've got my hands on 5 different point and shoots, some of them good, some of them bad, and one that was unfortunately left on a train. Now that it's been a couple of months since I last got one, I figured I could do a recap and talk about what I liked and disliked about each camera, and why most of the time I prefer a point and shoot to an SLR. So firstly, we'll start with the Pentax Zoom 70. This is probably my least used camera on the list. It's by far the biggest and it's not my favourite, but that doesn't mean I haven't gotten good results. Despite its size, I really like the Pentax's form factor. It's square, heavy, and even though it reminds me of a brick, it's actually quite comfortable. It has your basic self-timer and flash modes, as well as more advanced backlight compensation and macro modes. The lens can extend to anywhere between 35mm and 70mm, and the viewfinder also extends with it. Unfortunately, it's very prone to break, and the autofocus has let me down several times. Overall, this is my least favourite out of the 4, but it's still a great camera. Next, the Kodak S100 EF, also known as the Kodak Breeze, is one of my personal favourites. Something about it is really cute to me. It's the least advanced of the 4, and yet it's given me some of the best results. Now, the camera only accepts 100, 200 and 400 ISO film, and it packs a nifty electronic flash. And that's about it. The lens is nothing special, and you even have to manually wind the film after each shot, like some sort of savage. I don't know why I like this camera so much. It's all plastic, the viewfinder is tiny, but it just works. I highly recommend it. The Reco TF900. I remember the day I got it, rushing to the shop to buy a battery 10 minutes before it closed, only to discover it cost more for the battery than I paid for the camera. Several months later, the battery's still going strong, and I've put more than a fair share of rolls through it. Now, I don't want to talk about every little detail of this camera because I've already made a review, but the most important thing about it is its dual focal length lens. When you push the button, you go from 35mm to 70mm, and the viewfinder even magnifies too. If you're anything like me, any addition that's going to let me be further away from someone when I'm trying to secretly take their photo is a plus, and the Reco TF900 is the perfect combination of casual and control. The only flaw I can find with this camera is the power switch is this little neat slider that covers the viewfinder, which at first seems like a really good idea, but it's very easy to accidentally switch on when you put it in and take it out of your bag. And finally, the newest addition to my lineup is the Hannam X35 AFX, a camera I desperately wanted to love. Now, I got this camera to take with me everywhere and snap a couple of photos every now and again. The idea was that, since it was a data back, the photo would have the stamp of the day I took the photo, and while the camera delivered on the aesthetic I wanted, it failed in so many other areas. The minimum focal distance seemed to be way too long, so a majority of my photos had missed focus. It only takes 2 AA batteries, so the auto wind and the flash quickly drained them, and last but not least, the paint just decided to dissolve one day, leaving me caught in the rain red-handed. Now, it's not all negatives. The autofocus system is great, and once the flash had eventually charged up, it was super bright. That being said, even with brand new batteries, the camera took an eternity to rewind the film, and the lack of any battery level indicator was frustrating. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably noticed that a majority of the images I post are taken on one of these point and shoots, and honestly, it's not because point and shoots are better or even as good as an SLR. It's because they're small, lightweight, they can fit in my pocket, and they can come with me anywhere. Some days I just don't feel like wearing a camera around my neck, and I just want to throw a small point and shoot in my bag and forget about it. The whole reason I got into photography was because I had a small compact digital camera that I took with me everywhere. The best camera is the one you have with you. That's probably one of the most annoying quotes I've ever heard. But annoying, yes. True, also yes. So it's been over a year now since I last used the Pentax Zoom 70, and if you've made it this far in the video, I thank you. Because of all the support I've got over the last 12 months, I realised I should probably start to give some stuff back. So that's why I've decided to give away this Pentax Zoom 70, because I think it's wrong to leave it laying in a box going unused for any longer. So all you've got to do is be subscribed, follow me on Instagram, leave a comment, all the good social stuff. In reality, I don't think there's a way for me to actually check if you've done that, but come on, don't we mean? Thanks for watching.